Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are Saturday. It's somewhere 8 a.m. The no-see-ums are eating me up because I'm already up since 5, made breakfast, started working since 6. The mast is now free of all lines. We still have the stays attached to it. This will be, they will be also removed in this process because I also at the front started to unmount all the damaged rail components. Here the bow basket is already removed, the studs are in parts removed, here the rail cables removed on the starboard side. This will be the main side to work above the waterline. Then the back rail components here on the starboard side, this means they are also completely damaged and just hang around, just have 2 points where they are attached to the boat's body. This one is still better, but I will completely redo all of this. I will redo this section at the stern, which I planned for already. I will redo the section for the bow, which I actually planned for further in the future, but I will pull this forward. I will remove all rail components, everything. This here is my signal booster. It's a very valuable tool. It's recommended for people who are living sometimes off-grid, whether they like it or whether they planned it or not, like in my case. So if you are on a sailing vessel, guys, get yourself signal boosters. You require these things in case you have no coverage and you need help, or you need to call towing companies and shipyards and stuff like that, like in my case. Then this is a very valuable tool. You have internet connection, you can go and do if you require so. Or you go very sophisticated and you buy a satellite communication. This is the situation at the vessel. Remove all the rail components. The anchor section has to be redone, it's damaged. It's like this now. I mean, I did it beautifully in Arrecife. This thing was very good. I got this from an Englishman. He did this with this flip pin thing, or lock pin. I don't know how you call this in English. In German we call this a splint. You just pull it out, de-lock this thing, and you can immediately operate the anchor. And in case you need it secured, this is absolutely secure. Stainless, bolt it, lock it, and of course with lines you secure the loose components, and then you're really fine. Nothing can be lost, everything is secured and locked, because if you lose your anchor uncontrolled, you might get yourself again in deep trouble. Good. Okay, so the front now looks quite cleaned up for now. Yes, I damaged also the solar panel. Ah yes, here is the boom with the main. I will kick the boom and the main out of my boat. I will saw the mast into pieces because it's more than 100 kilos heavy. It's very surprising. I thought it would be something around 100, but I was yesterday stunned when that thing came down with what force it came down, and it was more than 100. I could not lift it by myself. I had to get out of its way, and so I don't like such heavy things on my vessel. This vessel is not allowed anymore to have heavy crap, which is ineffective and creating overly stress, especially in difficult situations. I mean, imagine this thing coming down in a storm like Hurricane Ian. Dear friends, if such a mast moves uncontrolled in a storm, say Hurricane Ian, why should you whack yourself when you can avoid it? I now have the experience, I now know what a hurricane is, I now know how I can prepare way better for such a thing. The next thing will be way better prepared. So the mast will be removed. I kick that thing out. For now I think about a combination between wood and carbon reinforcement. Wood and glass fiber would be also a possibility, then it's more flexible and stuff, but wood and carbon would be much more appreciated by me, or even just carbon. I will see, but not this thing anymore. My next mast, 20-30 kilos maybe with this carbon thing, and that's it. I have to be able to handle these things, and when they come down, they should please not whack me to death or injure me seriously, you know. This game is serious, I know this now. no see him. But I saw it because it was right in front of my eye. So this game is serious. I know this now. The funny thing is, I'm not that scared anymore because I got myself through so many issues, which I didn't even tell all because
I don't have the camera on, and I have to really get to really work on everything and correct everything or prepare for everything, and I don't have the time to edit for all of this.
So what you get is actually the so-called crème de la crème. This then means you get the tip of the ice cream, so the tip of the ice, the icing, yeah, the tip of the icing, and this is how the tip of the icing now looks. The surfboard is still in one piece, thank God, so I can go surfing when I come to surfable waves. So the dream is up, MON RêVE is up. We have to work, we have to get things done. We were actually already done. We had the auto helm nearly, it was ready to be mounted. And what's a flush of salt grid in our beautiful outboard, you see, this beautiful outboard. Yeah, and which would be the last thing? Ah, yeah, to sew the Genoa. Okay, so the Genoa and her furler are also a heavy piece of tissue. Here with one hand, so heavy. It's got there's a stay in it. There are aluminum parts on it. There's heavy tissue on it. There's the cover on it. There's just boy, it's nuts. There's so much stuff. There's a furler thing and blah and steel parts and okay. The Genoa goes. This Genoa too heavy. The boom, the main and the system. It's not furlable. It cannot furl the main. It's especially difficult to handle if you are in unstable conditions like sailing or even storms. So what do I want with such a main if I would require some sort of propulsion? I kick it out. Everything what's heavy, everything what's inefficient or even dangerous, I kick that stuff out. The mast, I cut the mast in pieces and paddle it out to key rest if necessary, in case the towing guys cannot help me. Then the ship becomes way more light. And with ease, when I ease this ship up at high tide, I might pull it out by myself even. Then I paddle this damn thing out if it's necessary, and if I can, of course. And then it's out, and then it's good. I don't have an anchor yet. I have my small folding anchor for the kayak, which I also tried while I was drifting. I had even a third anchor, the small anchor, and it didn't bite. In this muck, it did not bite, it did not operate. I then even took a pole. I actually had two of these poles where now the antenna of the booster is attached on. And this one thing, I then took a big hammer, this has maybe 2 kilos or so, and whacked then this pole into the mud and tried to get the hook around the pole, but I missed the hook. Why? It was drifting so fast, the vessel, because it went off the sandbar again into the deeper water, drifted faster, and I missed that hook. I missed to get this retention which I required to not drift that far away, like we are now. Okay, like now we are here in the mangroves. This feels like an Abraham's lap. It is beautiful, it is lush, it is stunning, man. I mean, it's beautiful, yeah? And I'm in one piece. I don't have that injuries. The boat is still in one piece. It can float, though it takes water in. This is manageable, and I manage it. So guys, let's stay tuned for the next one. Here we go. It's Saturday. It's around 5 p.m. This is Key West. We see a big stranded sailing vessel. Today I got myself with the paddles and the kayaks around this island, and I found many more sailing vessels grounded at the islands. Just like myself, but they are not populated, so there's nobody on. Okay, the plan is as follows. We are gonna take this thing, this is from the basket from the bow, and use this as an anchor, and put this into this direction, whack it with the mast. I'm gonna cut the mast in pieces and use it as a ramrod, whack this thing into the mud with a line on it attached, and we drag ourselves through the mud to a spot which is 0.5 miles from here until this vessel comes back to flood again. this is the plan. So this can be done in 1 or 2 days, and then after that it should be easy in case I get the outboard going. The outboard has a problem. As I said, this beautiful baby I could somehow fasten to its original bracket back again, but it has a certain problem, and this is this device. It is broken at this spot here. Go away, I don't like these on my vicinity. So the great question is, how do I get this pin, which is inside this thing, back on this housing vent? I don't know it. I will remove this hose, I will remove this device, I will check on whether I can make this pin in there. When we are afloat again, we need propulsion, no matter what. So there are towing companies, I talked to a couple of them, and they said when you are so deep in the muck as you are, we will ask you between 7,500 and 8,100. Luckily the insurance I have on this vessel would cover that. They now are actually resting because tomorrow there's gonna be Sunday, and today they don't do anything anymore. And on Monday then they pick up the process again. On Tuesday the insurer will call back on my case and inform after he counter-checked with his boss, with the responsible. And maybe I can make this happen until, who knows, maybe even tomorrow, that we are in the channel. Then in case I have the outboard going, I just turn that thing on and push ourselves slowly to our old mooring ball. Ideally, of course, also to the shipyard, because this baby must go on the dry. I must work on her. And unfortunately I must leave the States as of now. I must leave the States October. This means this month. I have a couple of days. If there are possibilities to prolong this, I will do so. If not, I don't know. Let's see.